I am a blind woman. That day was an ordinary day, but I, in the refrigerator, touched my boyfriend's body, and there was a person standing behind me, waiting for my reaction. My name is Evelyn Harper, 28 years old, a blind woman. When I was 5 years old, I got into a car accident. Not only did I lose my parents, but I also lost my eyes. Yes, I survived, but glass shards flew into my eyes. After that, even in bright places, I could only see shadows, but I quickly learned to take care of myself. In 2023, I found a job as a telephone operator and lived with my boyfriend in an apartment in New York. He is wealthy, gentle, and when I touch his face, I can feel his high nose and perfect jawline. He could have chosen a girl with sight, but he still chose me. "Do you know," he said to me, "I just want to protect you." I often feel grateful that I met him fortunately after the misfortune. Until one night after work, I came home and found he wasn't there. I called his name a few times, but no one answered. Then, I received a message on my phone. It was text, which needed to be converted into speech using software. "Eve, my boss and I have to go on a business trip temporarily. I will be home tomorrow." He knew I couldn't see, so he had never sent me texts before. I tried to call him back, but I couldn't get through. I stood there, stunned for a while. A sense of foreboding began to rise in my heart, until I opened the lower drawer of the refrigerator to get a cup of ice cream my boyfriend bought for me. The first drawer of the freezer was stuck with ice and took a lot of effort to open. Although it was mostly empty, the inertia was strong, and when I pulled it out, it knocked against my knees. I quickly stabilized the drawer, and then the smell of blood rushed up. Although very faint, it was extremely clear. A blind person's nose is our eyes. My nose wouldn't be wrong. My boyfriend was murdered. I tried my best not to tremble. Calmly, I took out the cup of ice cream from the refrigerator. At that moment, I touched something still warm. Probably my boyfriend's body. I just didn't know which part it was. I wanted to call the police immediately using my phone, but I held back. Because the smell of blood was not the only abnormality in the room. From the moment I entered, I smelled a strange odor, like sweat mixed with the scent of cologne, accompanied by a hint of body odor. I thought it was coming from outside the window, but now I understand that smell belonged to another person. And after entering the house, no matter where I went, that smell followed me everywhere. Turns out, that person was following me. He is the murderer, and now he is standing behind me. I held back the trembling of my lips, took a deep breath, stood up, pushed back the drawer, and closed the refrigerator door with a bang. Then, I calmed down. The murderer seemed to not want to kill me temporarily, just staying close behind me. I couldn't figure out why for a moment. But in any case, not discovering him was the basis of saving my life. I couldn't let him see any abnormalities in me. Furthermore, I couldn't rashly call the police. I sat on the sofa as usual. I started to eat the ice cream in big bites. Something that usually takes 4 or 5 minutes to finish was quickly swallowed. The coldness kept hitting my brain, and the spoon made a scraping sound against my teeth. With these small actions, I vented my anger and fear. At the same time, I turned on the TV and adjusted the volume to the lowest before mute. I wanted the murderer to know clearly that I had good hearing. This way, he would pay less attention to my sense of smell. After confirming that he didn't move, I began to calmly think about how to escape and seek help. I had to come up with a plan quickly, because every second he could kill me. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Someone was here. Whoever it was an opportunity. I walked to the door and asked, "Who is it?" "Eve, it's Barry Sludge. Are you there? Can you open the door?" Although I didn't hear footsteps, the smell of the murderer unexpectedly faded. It was the visitor, forcing him to hide. Barry Sludge is my boss. Impudent, married with children, yet trying to seduce me. I've seen many men like him, thinking I can't resist because of my blindness. He often intentionally made advances, touching my hair, brushing against my hand, teasing my skirt in the pantry, and even forcibly kissing me in the dim elevator downstairs at my home. That time, I slapped him. He said, "It's not easy for you to have this job. Don't be ungrateful." That morning, I wrote an email, including explicit screenshots of his actions towards me, warning him to stop. "I've only copied your supervisor this time. Next time, I'll copy the entire company." So, he probably came today to apologize. But now, he suddenly became my lifesaver. "Barry!" I opened the door and hugged Barry. "I missed you so much. Why did you come so late?" I've never been affectionate to him, never hugged him, nor invited him over. Everything now was my cry for help. He hesitated for a moment, then hugged me back, saying, "Eve, what's wrong?" "Didn't you say you were bringing me a gift? Where is it?" I asked him. "A gift?" He looked puzzled. "Yes, in the car, right?" Then, I wanted to tell him to go get it with me. This way, I would have a reason to leave the house with him. But this would anger the murderer. If something happened to me, Barry would also be implicated. "Hurry and get it, then come back." I could only urge him to call the police quickly. "Eve?" He seemed to want to ask more, but the more he said, the more likely he would reveal a flaw. "Barry," I interrupted him, grabbed his hands, shaking them from side to side. "I want your gift." At the same time, I repeatedly drew 3 numbers in his palm. 911, 911, 911. I was sure the murderer was still in the house, but I didn't know his exact location or how much he could see. So, this was the only safe way for me to communicate. After that, I pushed him out and closed the door. Then, I sat back on the sofa, hoping he understood my message. But after a while, I suddenly realized that the murderer's presence seemed to have disappeared. Where was he? Was he not watching me anymore? Just as I was pondering this, I received a voice message on my phone. Who was it? What happened to Evelyn? More thriller book recommendations on Kindle Unlimited. Please subscribe my channel.